see you. Thanks for joining back in. Hope everyone had a great Easter and everyone is feeling well and enjoying this time at home and getting some things done around the house. I know I am for sure. A couple of things that we're going to do today. We're going to make one yummy dessert, but there's several stages to this. So don't be nervous, it's not hard. There's just several steps to it. This is just a delicious apple caramel cheesecake. And it's got a crumble on the top and it's fantastic. And I know that you guys will definitely want to try this at home. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started with the bottom part of it. Now this is the crust part of the cheesecake itself. And it starts off with just 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So I went ahead and just had 2 cups, I put right in my bowl here. And then I'm going to add a couple of things to it to kind of just incorporate everything together. First off, we're going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And so I've got some brown sugar here that I had made up. Sometimes what I do is I make some up ahead of time, or you can buy it at the store if you want to, but I just make it with, regular sugar and molasses. And I just kind of pack it in lightly, and you're gonna do 1/2 cup of the brown sugar, okay? And then to this, you're gonna add 2 sticks of softened butter. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, probably a knife would help me cut that in, because what it's good to do is, if you can cube it ahead of time if you want to. I just make a simple slice down the center of each stick of butter, and then you can just kind of cut it into pieces. And what this is going to do is just going to help you mix it together a little better, that's all. And then that is going to go right into my bowl, all cubed and ready to go. So these 3 ingredients here, I'm just going to cut in with my pastry mixer. And this is going to all incorporate together. Now you can do this with a fork if you want. I kind of help it out with my knife a little bit. It's a little difficult to do at first, but don't be afraid, because it will, as your butter softens, this gets much easier to mix. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep cutting this in and kind of mixing it around until it all combines together into a nice little crumble mixture. Now what I do is, after I get this butter cut in a little bit, and after I make several swipes with it, I actually use my hands a little bit. And it actually works really, really well. I think you guys will really like doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep mixing this. And again, what you're looking for is a nice crumb mixture. You're gonna make a little bit of a mess because, we make messes when we're cooking. So now with the butter not being really hard, this is going to help you mix this a lot. That's why they ask for softened butter. Now I wouldn't get it too soft, because you want a lot of that kind of all mixed in. Let me show you the mixture so far, just so you can kind of see it. See how we've got lots of clumps of the butter in here? If you want to take a fork and go ahead and just toss this in, or a knife, you can definitely do that. I kind of use both. I got a couple pieces of butter out here. I kind of use both back and forth, whatever you feel comfortable with. So as it cuts in, see, that's really mixing in well now. It really, the cold butter is gonna help make this nice and crumbly and crispy. So when you go ahead and bake this crust off, we're gonna line you can do a 9x13 pan if you want to. The directions are either way. I'm gonna actually use a springform pan. But if you have a 9x12 baking dish or baking pan, go ahead and use that if you want, and line it with some tin foil. Okay, so put some tin foil like down in the bottom of it and up the sides, okay? And that will kind of help it. The springform pan kind of does that on its own. So, but you can definitely use either one of them. It's totally fine. All right, this actually looks really good, and I think it's about done. It doesn't take too long to do this. You can also, now if you don't have a pastry cutter and you don't want to really get your hands dirty, you can use 2 forks. Work just like a pastry cutter. If you take the forks and you just kind of chew it up like this, you know, shred it, then you'll be good to go there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean out my pastry. I love these things. These work so great. And it cuts the butter so quickly. And I think that's why I like it so much. All right, so this looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a stir to make sure you're gonna see lots of big clumps of butter in there. That's what you want. And I think I'll just break it up a little bit with my fingers just to kind of toss it. Make sure everything's incorporated well. They always say that the best tools are your hands. So if you don't mind getting them a little dirty, then I recommend kind of doing the last part of it with your hands, just so that you know that all the butter pieces are all broken up fairly evenly and you're ready to go there. All right, so we've got the 2 cups of flour, the 2 sticks of butter, and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, all mixed in here. Now the next part, what we're gonna do is I have gotten let me kind of get this flour mixture off out of the way here. Like I said, there's always a little bit left over that kind of gets on your counter, but that's totally okay. All right, now I have a piece of parchment paper that what I did was I traced the bottom and I just folded it and then just cut it into like a little cone, and that's gonna fit perfect in the bottom of my bottom of my spring form pan. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of non-stick cooking spray in the pan itself, more so in the bottom of it, just so that this will stick to it. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of set that down in, and you can see that it fits in there perfect. That's just gonna kind of help everything go. And I'm gonna actually spray the inside as well. Now this creates a little bit of moisture for the mixture itself. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dump this mixture into the pan. Now, I'm not gonna use all of it right now. And what I'm gonna do is start pressing up the sides. Now you can see here that I'm just gonna take my hands on this, guys, okay? And we are going to create the crust. And you're gonna go up the sides of the pan all the way around and just press with your fingers, and the butter will keep it there. You won't even need to worry about it, okay? So we're gonna just continue to do this as we go around. As you go around, you wanna just keep pressing and kind of just scooping that mixture up and just bringing it in. Now you can feel this with your fingers. You can kind of feel the thickness of the crust, okay? So just kind of gauge it with your fingers by pressing in. This is gonna make such a yummy crust. With the brown sugar and the butter. You can't go wrong with butter. Now this recipe calls for a lot of butter. We've already used 2 sticks. We've got 1 more to go. 3 cups of three sticks, so 1.5 cups of butter. So, well, hey, everything's better with butter, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the bottom of my crust. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix this in because I've kind of come up on the sides a little bit. I've got a little bit more here to do, and I'll kind of show you how to finish it off in just a minute. Now what we're gonna do is you can use a glass or like a measuring cup to kind of press it down if you want to, but I'm just gonna use my fingers because I don't really think that far ahead. I just kind of use it with this, so it works. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of press my knuckles down into the corner of the pan, and we're gonna create a definition of the inside of the pan, okay? Right on the corner, all the way around the whole circumference of the inside of the pan. And then I'm just gonna press the center. Now, I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So definitely get that going before you start anything, just so that that's nice and warm, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna bake this crust off, okay? So we're only gonna bake it though just for about 10 to 15 minutes, not very long, just until the butter kind of cooks into the rest of the mixture, and to just kind of create a nice crisp outside, okay? So there we go. I think that is gonna be perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop this in the oven and just clean up this area just a hair because we've got 3 more stages left to go. All right, so this is just the first one, which it didn't take long, just a couple minutes usually it takes to just kind of put everything together. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the oven, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the second and third and fourth part and combine it all together. So we'll be right back.